believe that from dusk on October 31st until the dusk of November 1st, souls of those who had died that year would pass on, meaning it was also when ghosts would be most present. To ward off evil spirits, people placed carved jack-o'-lanterns on porches and in windows. Their creations were made from carved turnips, beets, or potatoes, with burning lumps of coal inside them to add light. The jack-o'-lantern is believed to have originated from an Irish myth about Stingy Jack, who played tricks on everyone. When he died, Jack was denied entry into both heaven and hell and was forced to roam the world as a ghost who carried a lantern made from a carved turnip. Today, the pumpkin carving tradition remains synonymous with Halloween. In fact, the majority of 1.5 billion pounds of fresh pumpkin varieties grown in the U.S. each year are sold for Halloween. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be humid with clouds and sunshine and a high of 88 to 90. Partly cloudy, very warm and humid tonight, low 74 to 76. Warm and humid tomorrow with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Expect showers by tomorrow afternoon, high 87 to 89. Then Thursday will be warm and humid with a mix of clouds and sunshine and a high of 87 to 91.
Right, but on your phone, you can always
Thunderstorm around Friday morning. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
There's a staycation right here in town. It's Super 8 Motel Ocala, right down the road on 40, just west of I-75. And they're pet friendly. Have truck parking, free breakfast,
Yum, yum.
a swimming pool, a kiddie pool, and veterans get 10% off. It's a staycation at Super 8 Ocala. Call today, Super 8 Ocala at 352-629-8794. Again, 352-629-8794.
I made sure this was the right one. I made sure. Welcome back to Ocala Talks. This is In the Garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. As she does every Tuesday morning, she brings her expertise in all that is green thumb to all of us black thumbs around the listening area. Carol Ann, good morning to you.
Good morning. I try. It's even sometimes we mess up sometimes. So.
Well, all I know is that I have one plant that lives for me.
Okay.
We've talked about my mom before.
Oh yeah.
The peace lily.
Yeah.
And the reason it lives is because I set it on the porch and it gets water and it gets sun and I don't have to do anything.
It does its own
I pull
thing.
the old brown leaves off
every so often,
and it just goes.
Yeah, keeps going.
Other than that, I got nothing. I mean, I know how to grow grass. You just sit on the porch and watch it grow. That's how you grow grass.
Yeah, go out there and mow it every so often. Yeah.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
I have dogs. 3 dogs and a cat. And the dogs, as they will do at times, like to dig.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. And a friend of mine said, and I did this, and the grass took, but now I'm worried about how it's going to go.
Okay.
A friend of mine went and told me where I could go get some sod.
Okay.
And he said, put the sod, put a little dirt in that hole, put the sod in there.
Yeah.
It'll grab.
Yeah.
It'll fill that hole up.
Yeah.
And because it's newer grass that don't have dog smells on it and everything, they may leave it alone. I'd never heard that before. I've filled it in. The grass is taken.
Okay.
Mind you, I bought the wrong grass. I didn't buy grass that matched my grass. For some reason, I bought Bahia. But, when it's cut short and it's green in the summertime, it all looks the same.
You can't tell. Right.
But lo and behold, the dogs, they're not wallowing in that area. And it was their area for years, and they're not doing it. Is there any correlation, or did I just get lucky?
That's interesting. You know what? I don't know, because you'd figure that even just they're walking across it once would then put a dog smell on it.
You would think.
Yeah, that just as they wander the yard to go do their business, or they're chasing a lizard or
Right.
whatever, that somehow or another they're. Oops, I forgot to turn sounds down. Oops.
It's only live radio,
just
Carol
in
Ann.
case. I'm usually good at that. It's like, I don't want
I'm
to
the
hear
worst.
that thing. I don't want to hear that thing.
I'm the worst at it.
But no, I had not heard that. I mean, usually the only thing I know about when dogs start to dig, it's either that there's something under there, whether it be a mole or
Right.
that they get scent of. You know, I had one of my dogs used to chase the moles and would dig and dig and then stop, sniff, move, dig. So, wait a minute. Till she'd find them, and she wasn't a dachshund or something like that you'd think would be going after
You
those
mean like my
critters.
basset hound?
or a basset hound, yeah. But or they're bored.
Right.
You know, those are the two
Alone
reasons.
anxiety and everything.
Yeah, that they got nothing better to do. Nobody will throw the ball. Nobody will play the stick. They won't chase each other. Yeah,
I locked the door.
We'll let you
I'll
in
let
a
you in
minute,
Matt. Sorry.
Oops, lock the door behind me. But no, I had not heard that.
Moles are a big problem in Florida.
Yes.
You bring that up. Moles are
Yeah.
a big problem. I had a basset hound. I have a dachshund now.
Okay.
And they will do, like you said, sniff, stop, sniff, and dig.
Yeah.
Poor little basset hound one day, the mole decided to fight back. And the basset hound yells, look up, and the mole's clipped onto her lip. But if you have a nice, lush yard, it's feeding ground for moles.
Exactly.
What can I do? What can the average person do without calling out an exterminator or something to get rid of moles?
To get rid of moles, there are repellents that you can use. They're based on castor oil. Because once you get the castor oil into the ground, it becomes something that sticks to their fur, and probably a little hard to breathe, a little hard to dig.
Well, I hate castor oil.
And
so.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I think everybody does. Probably has a similar effect maybe on them. I'm not sure if as they try to clean off that, but I'm sure that it cakes up in their feet, and we know they got digging kind of feet. And being able to breathe in that soil. So they're based on that. There are also some products out there that are shaped like an earthworm, because that's what they eat. They eat earthworms and grubs.
Certainly.
That's actually like 85% of their diet is earthworms. So a nice healthy lawn is going to have earthworms in it. So like you said, it's just a habitat for them. The baits are shaped like that, but you have to find the active tunnels. It's a little bit of work, but the worms will kill them. The pellet stuff, they don't eat peanuts. They don't eat pellet. I don't know why they seem to chase them off with that or kill them with that, because it just doesn't, the logic doesn't work with it on that.
If you want to talk to Carol Ann, you can do so by calling in 622-9622. It's Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin with us as always on Tuesdays. I got a fire ant problem.
Oh, fire ants.
And I notice it's around the driveways and around the flower beds,
Right.
It's not out in the middle of the yard.
No.
Is there good products that can help with it? Is there a better product? Because I got the spreader and everything.
Right.
I've tried certain things, and they say let it in, then you let the grass be cut low, then you put it on, then you turn the sprinklers on so it soaks in and keep the animals off of it for 4 or 5 hours.
There's several different you can go the way of the exterminator, but I don't think that's going to get you any more long-term control than what you're going to get yourself. Doing the two-step method of getting one that's a whole yard treatment. And yes, unfortunately, these are all chemical versions. Like you say, you're keeping the pets off. If you're following the directions, there are... have to double check with some of the bags now. I want to say there was a lawn treatment one that you did not need to water in. It was one of the, we're all familiar with the Amdro bait type,
right.
that those you don't water in because it is a bait. They come get it. They come take it back to family and friends and that kind of stuff. So it's that there are yard treatments, and that's, if you've got a big problem with them, treat the whole yard first as per the directions on the bag. And I always say, pick a brand you're familiar with or that your wallet will afford. Usually a higher price does reflect a better quality product or one that will last longer or work more effectively underground. And then after you do that, follow the time frame. You're going to come back and then individually hit the mounds. It might just be within a couple of days that you'll hit those mounds, and that's going to get rid of what's left of them. Because a fire ant mound, you might find a mound, you might run your hand accidentally into that one in that flower bed, pulling weeds. Well, inside that mound, there's a lot of queens. A bunch of queens. So where you hear, kill the queen, you kill the mound. Well, you got to kill all the queens because they're just going to move.
It's not like a honey.
Right. It's not like a honeycomb that has one queen until they realize that hive is getting too big and they send out another one.
Right.
Fire ants, there's multiple queens under there. Those nests are massive. If you've ever seen a National Geographic thing where they've poured like molten aluminum down into an ant hill, and you see this.
What is it? Somebody told me, and this may not be accurate, but for every 1 inch above the ground, it's a foot below the ground. Is there any truth?
I would probably say, as a child, no, they weren't fire ants. I did try to dig down into an ant hill, and I had gotten quite a bit of trouble for the size of the hole I was digging in the yard.
But still,
I kept finding tunnels as I went further down. I had a couple of feet into the ground.
Am I more susceptible? I live with a county-maintained retention pond directly behind the property line. And it's a retention pond with bad weed grass and everything. Right. But is that area any more susceptible to fire ants than any other?
No, I wouldn't say so. No,
so I can't blame the county sewer for the fire ants.
You can't blame them. They're here. They're imported. Actually, and there's also some native fire ants. It's moreover just trying to get control in the areas that you figure if it's county maintained, they're just not treating for them.
Right.
So, it could be that you're getting them out of your yard, but they keep coming in because they can.
Right. I understand.
Yeah. And that kind of thing. And so it's moreover, I've told people where they go, well, I've got an acre of land. And I'm going, but do you play in the whole acre? Do you live in that whole acre? Or is it that immediate backyard is where you are and that you need to take care of? Or is it more wooded or landscaped further back that you really don't need to worry that much about?
We have 8/10 of an acre, and the entire 8/10 of an acre is used.
Right,
but
right.
I find with as many animals, because we have 3 dogs, and they use the backyard exclusively. Right. And most of the eighth of an acre is the backyard. Right. As most homes are built towards the front of the property. They run, so the fire ant really problem in the backyard is almost non-existent
because it's trampled, it's traveled,
same reason why snakes and all don't end up in your yard because there's too much
traffic, too much movement. Right. So you're in the front yard, or like you say, up into the flower beds where things aren't being messed with too often, and it is a quieter area. It's flower beds in that it has tendency to be a little more evenly temperatured because we have mulch on top of it, or it's shaded just by the shrubbery and things like that. We discover them when we stick our hand in it when we go to pull some weeds or
which is exactly what happened this weekend.
Yes, and that and we've all stuck our foot in it as we're reaching further, and then 5 minutes later, as they've all charged up to your knee and decide to bite at the same time.
My girlfriend said some words that you can't repeat on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
And she shook her hand, she immediately went and got the Andro to put on there. Right. That she had in the garage. And then afterwards, a couple hours later, she's got this afterbite. 13 bites on her hand and arm.
Yeah.
And she might have had her hand in that ant bed 2-3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't take long.
And then, you're trying to get them off, which, aggravates them even more. Yeah.
Doesn't take long. No. Somebody told me if you get ants on you, you're close to a water hose or something.
Hose them off.
Yeah, don't wipe them off because you're aggravating them. You're getting more stings.
Right. Or you're mashing them in. Right. Hose them off if you can. And then same way if a child or something like that, much easier to hose them off. Plus the cool water, if the water happens to be cool, not burning hot out of the faucet in August. I've even heard taking some of the afterbite or a menthol type product, like say a Vicks or a mentholatum you might use for cold and flu season, and that those items will help to pull that sting, that itch, that burn out of them. That there's a lot of different commercial products labeled directly for that, but sometimes the medicine cabinet may not have that handy, but it has another item in it.
Let's talk for a minute about it's October.
Yeah, almost November.
Almost November.
Yeah.
But because we live in a place that we really have 3 seasons: snowbird season, hurricane season, and flip-flop.
Right.
We call it summer.
Right.
It doesn't get very cold, so there's not a real change of seasons.
Right.
Right now, is there just a myriad of fall stuff you can plant, or can you still plant some warm weather stuff as well?
Pretty much what has happened at this time of year is that we do a switch over. We are into that cooler season, which it's the way that we have winter. People don't understand. It's still autumn here. It is still autumn. The humidity is down. Because at 85 degrees and 88 degrees in the afternoon, our heat index is not 106 now. It's down to 99. So humidity's down. The days are shorter, nights are longer. It is right now slightly cooler. It will again get more cool as the fall and winter progress, and so we're going into some of our on annuals, the cooler season annuals. You're starting to find some petunias in the garden centers. Some of the I call them little Johnny jump ups, the little violas,
right.
and violets, snapdragons. Some of these I still say it's a little too warm for. Hopefully we'll start to see some cooling in the next couple weeks to make those a little happier, because we see them wilt in the afternoon and we think we need to run and water them, and then we just kill them.
Yeah, you drown them.
We drown them because they really don't want that much water. They just need to recover. They just need it to cool down in the evening. Because for them it is.
Right,
for them it's hot.
It's kind of like us when you're out in the heat, you wilt too because it's hot.
That's exactly a phrase I use with my customers. At 2:00 in the afternoon when it's 85 degrees, I'm wilting also.
100%.
But I know if I get in the shade and I get cool, I gain my energy. Same thing happens with your plants.
Let's go to the phone lines. We got a caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Kathy. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on those fire ant bites. Mm-hmm. Is that what y'all were talking about?
Yes, yeah. What you got?
I can remember when my now 30-year-old was 2 or 3 years old and got into a pile of it. I threw him in the kitchen sink, handed him the bottle of French's yellow mustard.
Okay.
And let him have at it.
The
vinegar in it.
Okay.
Took all the bite sting. He didn't have any of those little pus sacs on him, nothing. And then I get a text from him showing me his 3-year-old in a sink. And she just walked through a pile of them. Sitting there with a bottle of mustard.
Let him rub it on. Yep. There you go. Hey, that's a great idea.
That is a great idea. Yep. You'd always heard mustard for burns and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, ant bite really burns.
Yeah, and the vinegar does take the fire out.
Yeah, it came out of the refrigerator. It was nice and cool. At the time now she thought they were playing in the sink, having a good time with a bottle of mustard. So,
right. Yeah. There you go.
No fuss,
getting to play with the. Yeah. Hey, I get to finger paint me with the mustard bottle. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Great tip.
Never even knew they had ant bites, so it worked all the way around.
Fantastic.
Thanks for the call, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah, I had not thought about mustard, but yeah.
That's true, because it does contain the vinegar, and vinegar takes. I always kept a bottle of vinegar under the bathroom sink for those times when you come home from the beach, and somebody's always got the sunburned shoulders and it's like you get in the shower, soak that washcloth down with the vinegar, and just set that on there, and you might smell like pickles, but it worked.
My grandma always had her thing for anytime you got stung by a bee or anything like that. She would take a napkin soak it in bleach, and put the bleach soaked napkin, and it would draw all the sting. She'd pull wasp stingers that you'd just pull the stinger out of your arm, and I have no idea why chlorine bleach does that.
I don't know either, and I've heard bleach for some of these things too, but I just worry bleach is a little harsh on the skin. Yeah. That if you can do the vinegar, see, we always used to do the paste of baking soda on the bee sting.
Well,
or it was the tobacco. You find somebody,
tobacco. Yeah. My dad had Camel non-filters. They were always around.
Nobody'd steal those.
Pull it right out. Pull it right. But right now, like I have in my yard right now, and we got a few minutes before we go to break. I have in my yard right now, I have white azaleas, and they're little bitty azaleas. Okay. They're not big. It's a bush that they keep trimmed. These dadgum things are blooming in late October. And I'm thinking, are there fall azaleas?
There are. I know of the Encore variety of azaleas. It's a hybrid family of azaleas that bloom multiple times during the year. So maybe if you're finding that there's bloom in spring and again in fall.
Yeah, these spring.
Or sometimes even a third
almost
one.
love bug. It's almost like love
with
bug
the love
season.
bugs, and it figures because they're white flowers that they would attract the love bugs. But yeah, there are multi-season blooming azaleas.
So then it wouldn't surprise me then, knowing all the money at the Masters and everything. Next week when they play the Masters, they still may have azaleas out for
it's you never know, and especially with the temperatures. I think it's still been fairly warm up there because I was up north a few weeks back and it was chilly for a few days only because it was raining, and then 2 gorgeous days. So
is this prime pruning season?
I say no.
Because people say fall, that's when you do all your pruning, but I've always heard it's springtime.
For us, I would say springtime because we don't go into a set dormancy.
Right.
We get halfway dormant. Things continue to grow even in the fall and winter months, maybe not quite as prolifically, but we don't want to encourage that growth and then have a sudden drop out of the thermometer. And that's how our weather goes. We'll run along with a nice warm spell, warm temperatures here in the upper 80s for highs. Our lows have been in the 70s, barely getting out of 70.
This morning at 5:30 when I woke up this morning, I do every morning I go, Alexa, what time is it? She tells me the time. And Alexa, what's the weather today? She said, it's 5:30 a.m. The current temperature outside is 75 degrees.
Wow. Yeah, little warm on that. But
fog was thick.
Was it? Yeah, I got to sleep in this morning until about 6:30. So
lazy.
Yeah, I know. It's the way it goes. That's it, yeah. But no, I usually tell people to either get the last prunings before fall. So like in September, end of August, early September kind of thing, is do that pruning and then wait till after we've had some decent cold, January, February, even actually mid-February kind of thing. And that way you're looking at that 6-week period before the last frost.
Right.
Because if you're looking now, our first expected or possible frost, I know it seems very unlikely right now, is the 15th of November.
Right.
And we have had frosts as early as Halloween. Years.
I remember years where we've been right at the freezing level in the first week of November.
Right.
When cold blasts come down from north.
Just come down, and actually I think they're saying right now with this hurricane and that it's going to pull a cold front into Florida. I don't know how much of one. I'm not sure how much of one, but I mean it is one. And this year, with the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if we did not get some serious cold.
80 degrees in October is better than 90 degrees.
Yeah, that is very true, and it's also better than 40.
Right,
yeah,
100%.
But no, I usually prune it early. I mean, get that stuff done so that you know that you've got 6 weeks before that last frost, and so that would have been back in September, so that whatever new growth may come out is going to harden off or become more sturdy before we get cold weather. Otherwise, all your new growth gets burned. And what sense is that? That's why we don't prune right after a freeze. It's like, leave it alone. Let it, put your blinders on there and not look at the damage that happens in the wintertime and wait till spring, then trim it all. You'll have a better outcome. Same way with fertilization. People are going, well, I just got back in town. It's going, yeah, it's November. And they go, well, it's November. It's wintertime. We're supposed to be telling these plants to slow down.
The Bermuda and with Bermuda grass, it's supposed to be dormant by now, but it's been so warm that the Bermuda still green. Still needing lawnmower man to come cut the grass because the Bermuda's still growing.
Mm-hmm. I think all of it is. Even where you've seen where things were pruned before, how much growth has come on since.
When we come back from the break, I want to talk to you about when is it time to plant certain things.
Okay.
My girlfriend's after me to plant a certain plant, and I want to know if it's a good time. And somebody asked me the other day, and I didn't know. My neighbor asked me, and I didn't know. And I said, Tuesday I'll find out the answer for you.
There you go.
And it concerns palm trees, something that everybody has in every yard in Florida.
Pretty much.
And
it's that prerequisite.
When she asked me the question, I go, I have no idea. It's a palm tree. I thought it took care of itself.
It's a staple.
And she was like, no, I think I need to do. So I said that I would ask you. So we'll do that after the break. It is. I got some in my eye all of a sudden.
Now you can't see the clock.
I can't see
Alexa, what time is it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm lazy with Alexa. You've got a garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin, and Tish just walked in. If you saw her on camera, she's setting up interviews. Tish is all over. She's got interviews coming left and right. She keeps me busy.
That's it. Keep you in line. Keep you in line.
Well, somebody's got to keep me in line. Look, Adam was such a good kid. Larry and Robin, such good people.
Yeah.
And then they turned it over to me.
Then they gave it to you. Look out. Ocala.
There was a reason I was the afternoon drive time guy here for a while.
to wake up.
People are having to wake up with me. I don't know how it's going to go.
Extra pot of coffee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had mine. You should get yours.
Folger's stock is going up.
There you go. In the Garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. We'll be back after this timeout. You're going to hear us pay for some bills, hear a little news, hear about the weather.
Hey, tell Matt to come on up and we'll open the front door.
Yeah, we'll open the front door for Matt, too.
In case he's listening.
We'll actually unlock the front door for Matt Gibbs because he's next after he follows you. And so we need to let him in the building.
I would say so.
We don't need to let Joe Martone in the building.
No, but he has a key.
He does have a key.
That's a
problem. That's a problem.
The boss can figure out how to get in.
I keep telling Dan, can we take his key? Dan goes, no, because then I would have to come over there.
That's true.
WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett is the 115th justice to serve the Supreme Court since day one of the American story.
My fellow Americans, even though we judges don't face elections, we still work for you. I will do my job without any fear or favor, and that I will do so independently of both the political branches and of my own preferences. I love the Constitution and the democratic republic that it establishes, and I will devote myself to preserving it.
Justice Clarence Thomas, the longest-serving member of the current court, delivered the constitutional oath of office on Monday night. Tuesday, Chief Justice John Roberts will complete the process by delivering the judicial oath. ACB starts work Tuesday. USA Radio News.
Money. 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 You gotta have it. When you need it, what do? If you don't have a rich uncle, call Lending Tree. With us, hundreds of banks compete for your business. So you'll get loans with competitive interest rates, and in some cases, with no closing costs. So here's the deal. If you need money, call us. Do you want to refinance your current loan? Are you 62 or older and interested in a reverse mortgage? Then call Lending Tree now. 800-634-1315. 800-634-1315. We've closed over $250 billion in loans. We know what we're doing and can help you. Call right now for a free quote. 800-634-1315. 800-634-1315. 800-634-1315. That's 800-634-1315. NMLS number 1136.
But with Simply Safe Home Security, you can protect your whole home or even your small business around the clock. It's serious, lasting protection, and it only takes a simple 30-minute setup. You'll even get a free security camera when you protect your home today. Simply Safe is an award-winning arsenal of sensors and security cameras that blankets every inch of your home. You'll know your home and family are always safe. You set it up in a few minutes without any tools or wiring. No technician or salesperson has to step foot in your home. Then Simply Safe will monitor your home around the clock with security professionals who are there in case of an emergency to immediately send help to your home. Plus, there's no contract, no hidden fees, and no installation costs. Right now, visit simplysafebubba.com and get a free security camera plus a 60-day risk-free trial with any new system order. There's nothing to lose. Go today to simplysafebubba.com or visit rickandbubba.com under the sponsors.
Visitors. See the world-class permanent collection and special exhibits, including photographs by Bruce Mozart and mixed media by Christina Deanne. Hours are Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sundays, noon to 5 p.m. The museum is closed Mondays through Wednesdays. Masks are required, and visitor occupancy is being monitored. For more information, visit appletonmuseum.org. There's a staycation right here in town. It's Super 8 Motel Ocala, right down the road on 40 just west of I-75. And they're pet friendly. Have truck parking. Free breakfast.
Yum, yum.
A swimming pool. A kiddie pool. And veterans get 10% off. It's a staycation at Super 8 Ocala. Call today, Super 8 Ocala at 352-629-8794. Again, 352-629-8794.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz. In studio with us, as always, on Tuesday from 9 to 10, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Before the break, we were talking about whether it's time to have a neighbor who wanted to know if it's a pruning issue, and you said, that pruning should happen in August or September.
Usually during the growing season,
right?
And and that. But you said this was a palm.
It's a palm tree. It's a cabbage palm.
Right, and it's a big one.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
50 foot. They're at least 50 foot tall. And the way I gauge that is she has a light pole right next to one of them.
Okay.
And the light poles are generally 20 foot.
Right.
And this palm tree is 2.5 times the height of that light pole.
That light pole. Right. But the palms. Well, one thing with palms.
She wants to know if she should pay a tree guy to climb that palm and give it a trim for all the dead, the brown, or is it just better to let it fall off?
It's healthier for the tree just to let it fall off, because you figure in nature they didn't make a guy that went up there and cut them off. I mean, there's
I would think not.
So I mean, aesthetically, we like to have somebody trim them off. One, it's expensive. Because once you do it once, you're going to go, ooh, that looks so nice. It's all
Yeah, but to get somebody to go 50 foot up a tree is expensive anyway.
It's going to cost you money. That, or he's going to use a boom truck if he can get that in your yard. So one or the other. It for the tree itself, it will slough them off. It will it will shed those. Even the big flower, even the big plume that they come on, it will fall off. I know when you see in some gated communities and that they're all always maintained. They're required to maintain them, which makes me ask, why do you want people to have palm trees if you're going to force them to spend $300 or $400 a year to go in
and maintain
or more than once a year to cut those out once those trees hit 30, 40, 50 feet when you can no longer reach it with your ladder. The cabbage palm is one that, it can take it more than 10 years to be mature enough to begin to slough them off on their own. When you see them and they have all the little boots where we've gone through with the loppers and cut them off, because we can reach and cut the brown ones off at that point, but then those boots stay attached to that tree till that tree starts to get some size to it and some age to it, and then they begin to drop them on their own. So it's more of a matter of aesthetics. The tree will drop them. It's probably better for the tree to go ahead and just drop them than to send somebody else up. But
to each his own.
To each his own.
But the tree will do it on its own.
The tree will do it all by itself. It's and we're not in hurricane season, so you're not really. We are, but the odds of a severe one coming through Central Florida right now in the next 30 plus days.
It's not as great as it was a month ago.
Right, exactly. So that's where your biggest concerns happen is during the hurricane season, that those dead fronds can come off and become projectiles.
And some of the dead fronds are pretty big.
Yes. Especially when you're talking a tree that size. You're probably talking a frond 6 or 8 feet long.
Certainly.
At least.
Certainly.
So.
Let's go to the phone lines. Hi, caller. You're on with Carol Ann.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey, Hugh.
How's it going?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Okay, we were talking about fire ants before. And a long time ago, before I moved to Florida when I was still working up north, my dad was down here retired, and we were visiting, and we went over to one of the county or state parks, I believe it was, and I'm standing in front of a grill there flipping burgers, and all of a sudden I look down at my ankles, and they're full of these fire ants. And oh, God, I tell you. And just by luck, a ranger happened to be not far away, and he said, quick, brush those off. And he said, put the light, you got lighter fluid right there, put lighter fluid on your ankles, submerge it in lighter fluid. And let me tell you, it helped. It still was painful to some degree, but I have done that since then, several years later on, with lighter fluid. When I was in my backyard one time, I got some on my foot too, and that lighter fluid really works.
Okay, probably, the petroleum product of it and or the oiliness, I'm not sure what would be in that. I would just be really, really careful with that, especially if you're around the barbecue pit. Yeah.
Well, that'll get your mind off the fire ants anyway.
That would be
fire will take your mind off fire ants.
Many things, yes, it will.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to mention at this time, shopping like at the Kohl's and Publix and everywhere I go, the pumpkins this year are just amazingly beautiful and large. I've never seen such nice large pumpkins. There must have been a super crop somewhere. I don't know, but I've never seen such big ones, and the prices are so low too. So it's a bumper year for pumpkins.
I think the price being lower has something to do with their concern people aren't going out. That they may be staying home and doing projects and things like that. So in order to sell the product, they may have had to lower the price a little bit. That and as close to Halloween as we are right now, they may have marked them down. I was actually, with the pumpkins that came into my store in particular, I was a bit disappointed. They were delayed getting here because there was so much rain, because ours came from North Carolina.
Right.
And they couldn't harvest.
No, because it was flooded.
It was flooded. They couldn't. And then when they did harvest, these vines were not dead yet, so the stems were still green, and a lot of the stems were cut real close to the pumpkin, so there were no handles. I was a little disappointed in them, though. I think I am going to get a pumpkin. I think I might try to get one today so that I can have pumpkin seeds, just because I love pumpkin seeds.
Right. Yeah. One of the great things about this time of year with pumpkins is the pumpkin seeds. And I know when the kids were home and they were young, and that was always a super treat. We'd always have we'd always carve 3 or 4 pumpkins and had plenty of seeds, and then you wash them off real nice, put them in a frying pan with butter and saute them, and then put them on a sheet and put them in the oven and broil them until they turn nice and brown, and put a lot of salt. And I mean that was a wonderful snack. And I believe it's healthy too. Other than salt, but
other than the salt, the pumpkin seeds aren't good. But yeah, they are.
Hey Hugh, thanks for the call, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just go on record? I know that it's probably blasphemy.
Yeah.
Can I go on record?
You don't like pumpkin seeds?
Hate them.
Oh, I love pumpkin seeds.
I hate pumpkins. I hate the nastiness inside of them.
Oh, you don't like the pumpkin guts?
I hate the pumpkin seeds. I hate pumpkin latte.
Pumpkin, that stuff can go away.
Pumpkin beer. I'm pumpkin pie. I'm just not that guy. Somebody says, well, "Oh, you got to have pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving." Why? So it'll sit over in the corner and not get eaten? But I like mince pie, and people go, "Ugh, God, why would you eat that?"
Yeah.
But the pumpkin has never been
a favorite. See, now I'm not a big pumpkin person. I do love the pumpkin seeds. I do like to make the jack-o'-lantern. I do like to carve the jack-o'-lantern and that.
Well, now it's gotten
thing.
crazy with all these.
Oh,
these
now you
design
can get all
things.
kinds of really
you
cool
put
stuff.
The digital thing,
yeah.
you can take the
Get
X-Acto
the little
knife.
Dremel or the Dremel and punch them out. Yeah. But no, with the pumpkin latte. One, I'm not a coffee drinker, which freaks people out.
Yeah, I get my caffeine from Mountain Dew. That's where I get mine.
In the morning, I have hot tea, which really freaks them out, kind of.
You get
thing.
a good English breakfast tea. It's got as much caffeine as coffee does.
Oh yeah. But I do make a pumpkin bread, which is like a dessert kind of thing that you might have with your cup of coffee. But to flavor up the coffee and that stuff, and like my grandson loves
pumpkin bread. Carrot cake so much better.
Banana nut bread, so much
better.
I'm not a big banana person.
See, and I'm a huge banana guy.
Yeah,
to me,
the pumpkin bread, it's got the raisins and the walnuts, just like the others, so it's just another.
To me,
flavor.
if you had to get away from any fruit, but you had to keep one fruit, I'd keep bananas. That's just me.
See, I could give the banana away.
And citrus would be really close, a close second.
I do love tangerines. I could give up oranges, but tangerines.
Tangerines are gross. The little cuties are fantastic. Yeah. I like kumquats. The sourness of them all, I like those. I love lemons. I
do like lemons.
Huge fan of grapefruit. Eat a grapefruit like an orange. No sugar, none of that. I just eat it because it's great. But I grew up in Florida all my life, and we had orange trees and everything in the backyard.
You had them when they were tree ripened. People don't understand that when you buy that lemon or that grapefruit in the grocery store,
it sat somewhere and ripened. It didn't ripen on the vine.
And exactly, and they're tart.
Yes.
When you ripen a Myers lemon on the tree, and when you pick it and it has a little give to it. It has a hint of sweetness.
Of course it does.
People don't understand that. And especially if we've had a
the
frost.
Same way.
If we've had a little frost even, it's like it's a totally different thing than the ones you buy in the supermarket. It's okay, it's lemon, it's tart, makes your iced tea better, makes your fish, makes your adult beverages tastier.
Certainly.
But if you can get one and go out and pick that thing off the tree and it has just that little bit of give to it and it just has a hint of sweet.
You just said blasphemy just then, though.
What's that?
Lemon with tea.
Oh, gotta put your lemon in my iced tea.
Yeah, but you're not from the deep south.
Yeah, but in my sweet tea, I gotta
You're not
have
from
my
the deep south.
No, not originally, but I've been here for a long time.
Lemon don't belong in tea.
Well, milk doesn't belong in tea.
I know it certainly does not.
I learned
and the English put milk or cream in their tea. Yes.
I know it's nothing to do with gardening, but I got away from putting milk into hot tea when I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Curdled.
My brother, my brother was going to do a friend's paper route over the weekend, and I asked, could I help? And my brother said, sure. My mom agreed, and so my brother said, sure. And he made breakfast.
Right.
Pop-Tarts and hot tea.
Certainly. Breakfast of champions.
That was it for 7 and 9 year olds. Why not?
Ooh, why
so
not?
he come through and he made here's my Pop-Tarts, here's my tea, and I went and poured milk in it and it curdled because he had put lemon in it.
Right. Because he put lemon in it.
He'd put lemon in it.
Yeah.
I never put milk in my tea afterwards because I never knew with that curdle in there, and I thought I'd done something wrong.
I know we're not talking about gardening, but we're talking about tea, and tea grows.
Yep, tea's a plant.
Tea's a plant.
Yep.
You know where I first learned to love hot tea? Chinese restaurants when we go out as a family.
And get the free. That was the free drink.
That was the free drink. Can I get hot tea, please?
Yeah.
And they bring it out in a little.
Oh yeah, the little teapot.
Teapot and everything. Yep. And so for a 6-7-year-old, had your own cup of hot tea, and nobody told you how many sugars you could put in it.
Right.
So you'd make it syrup. You'd make it hot syrup, basically.
Hot syrup, yeah.
It's funny how our taste buds change over time because, like right now, there's plants that are going to be cooked and all right now. Turnips, mustards, and collards. As a kid, and into my teenage years, you would have to beat me with a stick to get me to eat greens. And now,
I love them.
Oh, they're one of the greatest things you can ever eat. Brussels sprouts, hated them. Now you get you a nice good Brussels sprout, cut it into quarters, put it in the oven, broil it in the oven with some garlic and some butter. Oh. Great.
And I was going to say cabbage when I was a kid. You walked in the house, oh, God, Mom's cooking cabbage for Dad. That's who ate it, was Dad.
And now, are those type of things we just talked about, the greens, the Brussels sprouts?
Those are all in the garden now.
They're in the garden. They're coming out of the ground soon.
They will be, they're in the garden now.
January.
You might get some mess of greens. If you planted your greens early enough for Christmas, you may have some nice mess of greens to go with Christmas dinner. At least for New Year's, you got to have them for New Year's.
Got to have for the Hop and John.
Yeah, you got to have it for that. That's exactly.
I have
our plant. No,
I have a situation.
Yeah.
And you brought up Myers lemons. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend, who is from the Chicago area originally.
Okay.
When she got down, she was in Houston and everything. She got down to Florida, Houston, that area, Houston, Texas, all with citrus. Now Florida. She loves, and here's her thing. I need to go to the produce market. She tells me which one she wants to go to because they got the big lemons. That's what she refers to them as. They got the big lemons, the ones that are almost the size of an orange or grapefruit.
Okay.
And I know, and you know, she's talking about Myers lemons.
Yeah. The good ones.
The good ones.
Yeah.
But she goes, I need the big lemons. Yeah. So I told her, I goes, you need a Myers lemon tree. She goes, are those the big lemons?
Yeah.
And I said, yes, those are the big lemons. Because she uses them to juice. Myers lemons are very easy to juice with.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how big they are. Mm-hmm. You feel like you're getting something.
They got a decent juice quantity.
Right. They have a decent juice quantity. So she wants to get a Myers lemon tree.
Okay.
Do I wait till spring or do I get it now and put it in the ground?
Go ahead and put it in now. Go ahead and get it now.
Even with winter,
even with winter, right around the corner.
It's still long enough away that it'll grab and probably take hold.
It will, and you can. I mean, you're not going to get one that's 10 feet tall.
No, this is going to be
it's probably,
1 in a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah, okay, so you might be talking a 4 to 5 footer once it's in the ground. So if we were to have a really severe cold where they're talking hard freeze, that's about the only time we worry about our citrus. It's when that weatherman says, we're going to have a hard freeze. Then you protect it. And the biggest part that you need to protect is the graft, which is 8 inches off the ground. Usually your graft is real close to the ground. So you could protect that with just mulch or like bales of pine straw or something like that up against there to protect that, to keep that warm. And then do a frost blanket up and over the tree to make sure that comes all the way down to the ground level. But no, they do actually say that planting citrus in October, I mean, I know it's end of October now, I wouldn't be afraid to do it. I think you would be able to get it to take. You're just going to water it. You just got to water it. Don't mulch it. Don't do nothing else. You're not going to fertilize it till spring. All you're going to do is let it take hold. Let it get rooted.
How's the root system? Is it a shallow root system, though?
Actually,
because
it is.
Where she wants to plant it is, she says, the end of the drain fields, the far end of the drain fields, because it's natural fertilizer.
Yeah, well, it may be. I mean, usually, by the time you get to the end of the drain field, there's probably not much coming out of there.
Not.
But that kind of thing, and it's usually not really that wet. You may still need to water. Citrus don't like wet feet. They are shallow rooted, so they don't want to sit. That's why they don't like to be mulched, because that holds just a little too much moisture up on that top part of the ground. Your drain field is going to be at an angle going underground,
right?
So going down and away. So it should not be an effect to that drain field's operation. Whether or not the tree takes up much moisture or nutrient out of there, I really couldn't say.
With a new citrus tree like that, how often should you? How wet do you need to keep it for it to be healthy?
Initially, when you get it, you want to make sure before it goes in the ground is that root ball is well watered. And from that forward, for that first 30 days to 6 weeks, you want to water that quite frequently. Pretty much the first week, every single day. But you're only watering that root ball. You're not watering out the width of the canopy. It's whatever the size of the pot was.
Right.
So you're talking, if it was a 5-gallon bucket, you're looking at 3 gallons of water like every day for the first week.
So don't leave a swimming pool around it.
Don't swimming pool it. Yeah, I mean, you could put a little saucer around there, fill that with water, let it drain, walk away. Don't put the hose down and go mow the grass.
Right, don't do that.
Too much water on that. A lot of people make that mistake of thinking that just put it on a trickle for a week. Yeah, then why is my tree dying? Because you drowned it. Yeah, there's no air in that soil. So you can do the little trough around there, so you can fill that with water, let that go through. You're looking at every day for like the first week, and then you can cut that back to like every other day for the next couple weeks, and then do like a little less water, but the same amount of time until you get, after about 30 days, at least once a week. For another couple weeks, and then probably about every 10 days.
And then Florida has a tendency to take care of itself watering.
Once you hit summer, right, you're going to have to give it supplemental water at least until the rainy season, and then even that next dry season.
But the rainy season is good in Florida, so that helps quite a bit.
Quite a bit, yeah. Unless we end up with a drought, we can go into a drought year, and
it can kill. Too much water can kill, and I'll give you a prime example.
Yes.
My girlfriend, because she tries to be a green thumb, she took an actual avocado seed.
Okay. Yep.
Put it into a 7-gallon
plant. Decent.
Right.
Planter, right.
It came out, sprouted out. She put the stick on it so that it would have,
to grow it up straight.
Grow it up straight and everything. And it got probably to 3.5 foot high.
Okay.
She took it then and put it in a 10-gallon bucket, 10-gallon flower pot, try to give it more room to grow.
Plenty of room for the root system.
Right. It's in the medium shade like it needs to be and everything, so it doesn't burn up.
Right.
And then the rainy season hit.
Oh.
And even though there were holes drilled in the flower thing, it kept, so it rained. You know, we went through a deluge in about 6 weeks.
Right.
Where it just was 4, 5, 6 inches a day.
Right. Right.
Avocado tree, dead.
Gone. Yeah. And you know what happens with that a lot of times is, even though that's a massive pot and we think we can just use garden soil or topsoil or compost,
which is what we did.
It's too heavy.
Is it?
It's too heavy.
And when it got wet,
it just stayed wet.
Right.
Because that water could go nowhere.
That was our problem. So even though we had holes drilled in the flower pot,
it's
such dense dirt.
It can't go anywhere. She could have had success with it, and you can, by adding, like, say, a lot of perlite to it and the vermiculite and stuff like that, or using, say, 75% potting mix.
Right.
And then just throw in, like, another 25% of compost and that, just to hold some body to it, to give it a little more.
Because she's going to try again, because she was so successful. It took her 2.5 years.
Right.
And it ended up almost 5 foot tall.
Right.
But it was a little bitty thin.
Oh, yeah, little, yeah.
Yeah, it was probably 3 inches around at its thickest point, but it was 5 foot tall.
Sure.
And I was like, that's not going to, and it just had the 2 little leaves on the top of it. But then upon further inspection, she had done a great job in 2.5 years with that avocado from a seed where she had just cleaned the avocado.
And probably once it was in a pot that size, she could have probably got it out into some more sun. And it might have helped that get a little more.
Yeah, because it was in direct sunlight about 8 hours a day. Was all.
Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah. That's not too bad.
It was in direct sunlight from probably sun up till 2 in the afternoon.
2 in the afternoon. Yeah. Next time she gets going with it, she might get it into an area where it's got direct sun till, say, 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, keep it a little more.
Keep it a little longer.
Get a little longer.
Sun.
Yeah.
Avocado is something people don't think about that you can grow in Florida, but
if
you can grow it in California, you can grow it in Florida.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean it's a different climate.
Ask the winery
climate.
people.
Yeah, it is a different climate, though. We do grow a different, on different varieties on there.
We grow probably the avocado that would grow in Florida is probably the one that would grow more in Mexico or Central America. Isn't it?
It is. It's actually a combination. There's a couple of breeds that will do well here that you can actually buy the trees for. That they'll go as far north as Gainesville.
Yeah, because
temperature-wise,
with the price of avocados, an avocado tree makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. You just have
if
to
you
watch
love avocados.
If you get into avocado, and avocados are healthy. I got to learn to eat. I do like guacamole, and to me, it's just an enhanced avocado, so I think it's still healthy.
We're talking to Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann, if people want to come in person
and find me
and find you
and find me, they're going to find me at work down at Lowe's down in the Villages.
How is with the pandemic and everything and all? How is I know Lowe's here didn't suffer at all.
Oh, we didn't suffer, not in the least. We were actually crazy busy, especially in the garden center. People still maintain they were home.
They needed something to do.
This was the first year I ever witnessed where we sold out of seeds in the seed racks in spring. And I'm sorry to say that we do not, because it's a corporation, we don't get a fall seed selection. They'll be back in the stores, after the holidays or as soon as I can fit them when they let me.
Right.
If they are there, I will get it. I will get it down, and because I will fight with them because I know. But all your mail order sources, you can get seed.
Right.
You can still get seed, and you can get the seed here.
You can go to Lowe's.com and get seed.
And probably get seed.
Yeah.
And actually, I just got an online catalog. If you're looking to plant onions here in Central Florida, your catalogs for those are coming in. Dixondale happens to be one that I know of that I've used, and they sell the short day onions. That's what we grow here. Those are the sweet Gran X, Gran O, Texas 1015s. Those are ones that grow in Central Florida.
There's only one onion, right, Carol?
The Vidalia.
And do you know where it grows?
It's in Vidalia, Georgia.
It does not.
What the?
It does not grow in Vidalia,
That's
Georgia.
the only place it's allowed to grow.
No.
Its name.
That's where they ship it from, and they stamp the boxes, Vidalia, Georgia. That's how it got its name. I'm from Statesboro, Georgia.
Okay.
Glenville, Georgia. Metter, Georgia. Claxton, Georgia. They're all about 45 miles from Lyons and Vidalia.
Okay.
The soil that they grow those onions, I work for D Fair Farms, pulled more Vidalias out of the ground than I know what to do about. And they can't grow in Vidalia, but they grow 45 miles away, and they get shipped out of Vidalia. That's how they became the Vidalia onions, the sweet onion. Now, Vidalia, because it's something with the Georgia red clay and the nitrogen.
The soil. It's the soil.
And when I was growing up as a kid, we'd take peel that onion off, put some salt on it, eat it like an apple.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that. But I will say, because I know we're wrapping up here on seconds, it's also the same onion that's pretty much like a Texas 1015.
100%.
But you can grow these sweet onions here in Central Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carol Ann Baldwin, we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Yep.
Thanks.
Paddock Mall Studios. This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Amy Coney Barrett has been confirmed as the nation's 115th Justice on the Supreme Court.
My fellow Americans, even though we judges don't face elections, we still work for you. I will do my job without any fear or favor, and that I will do so independently of both the political branches and of my own preferences. I love the Constitution and the democratic republic that it establishes, and I will devote myself to preserving it.
Democrat Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts.
Originalism is racist. Originalism is sexist. Originalism is homophobic. For originalists, like Judge Barrett, LGBT stands for let's go back in time. Originalism is just a fancy word for discrimination.
USA Radio News.
Okay, some good news during a challenging time for everybody, and this could really help. You may know hundreds of thousands of people have already made the switch to MediShare, which is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And with so many people looking at how they pay for healthcare right now, seeing premiums going up or the cost of COBRA plans, MediShare has a special offer and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Simply apply by October 30th and they will waive your new member fee. That's $170 savings. And of course, that's just a start. The typical family saves $500 a month after making the switch. MediShare is a Christian community that has shared over $4 billion in medical bills, and it's worked beautifully for decades. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings. Here it is. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Just Shipped is expanding to its first retail location at the new Boulevard Market located on the corner of Bonnie Heath and 36th Avenue. Just Shipped will still offer the same all-inclusive services of packing and shipping your items. Don't want to get out of your car? You don't have to, because Just Shipped is offering curbside service. That's right, curbside service starting Saturday, November 7th. Go to justship.net for more information. Take the guesswork out of shipping with Just Shipped.
Ocala's Appleton Museum of Art has reopened to all visitors. See the world-class permanent collection and special exhibits, including photographs by Bruce Mozart and mixed media by Christina Deanne. Hours are Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sundays, noon to 5 p.m. The museum is closed Mondays through Wednesdays. Masks are required, and visitor occupancy is being monitored. For more information, visit AppletonMuseum.org. There's a staycation right here in town. It's Super 8 Motel Ocala, right down the road on 40, just west of I-75. And they're pet friendly. Have truck parking, free breakfast,
Yum, yum.
a swimming pool, a kiddie pool, and veterans get 10% off. It's a staycation at Super 8 Ocala. Call today, Super 8 Ocala at 352-629-8794. Again, 352-629-8794.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new truck.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
Auto repair with personal care. We know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz. It is time to talk to Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Auto. He's with us every Tuesday morning. Matt, good morning.
Morning, Tom.
We were just talking off the air, and got to be the car repair business right now with people with so much downtime and all. They're getting repairs done that they had, they know they needed to get, but now they're at home and I need to get, honey, I gotta go see Matt. I gotta go get the transmission adjusted and everything. Are you seeing you're getting busier because people are just, they've been inside so long, they want to get out and taking cars to the shop is getting out?
I think, Tom, and fortunate and thank God that in our area, I don't think our area has been affected like some of the other country, some of the parts of the country.
Certainly.
I see more people working in our area than it's working in other areas. I'm actually looking for help. So we're actually actively looking to put some technicians on. It's been crazy. It's It's literally been crazy for us.
How many bays you got over there?
Well, inside the shop we have I have like 8 lifts and then 4 flat stalls. So we're actually and plus I have another shop over there behind Prestige Auto Sales on 200. So we have 5 bays there, and but that pretty much caters to their needs, for Prestige's needs. And
Chris has a lot of needs because he sells, he buys and sells and trades cars like nobody's business.
Yeah, all day long.
All day long, Chris.
So we got that going on. So and plus we're looking at actually adding a little lean-to off the back of the shop and putting a couple lifts in the back. It's just been wild and crazy.
I own a, if you want to talk to Matt, call 622-9622 for any of your automotive questions. I have a Cadillac SRX.
Okay.
And I just had to replace the headlamps in it. And not just the lights, I mean the whole assembly, because the seals is 2010, and in Florida, 10 years of sun and heat, and the seals had rotted a little bit, and so water was getting in there. So if you replaced a headlamp, it would short out within 6-7 months because the moisture would get in there. So you had to replace the whole thing. And I was able to do that for a lot more affordable than I thought it was going to be. Now I went to a .com to buy the parts, and then took them because the people my buddy that works on my car, he said, I can order them for you, but it'd be easier if you do it and bring it. So I did, to his shop and everything. But I was surprised because I was inclined to believe, as I think a lot of people are, Cadillac, lots of money. So I ended up getting these 2 headlight assemblies with headlights and everything in them for right around $450 for the whole set. Now I thought it was going to be closer to $800-900. Is it? My perception is Cadillac, Lincoln, the higher dollar domestic cars and Japanese cars, the higher price on parts. Is that a true statement?
It can be. Here, so if you go to the dealer, let me ask you a question on your car. Did you have trailing headlights? So in other words, like if you're turning, did your headlights turn with the car? Actually move?
No, I got a 2000. I got a 2010. They didn't offer them in that.
Okay, well, no, you could have gotten in 2010 because I had a 2010.
Okay.
So
no, mine did not move.
Okay, so those that move, okay, they are about. They're like $1,200 for a headlight assembly from Cadillac, and they're probably about $600 aftermarket. So what you did was you bought aftermarket headlights.
Certainly.
Okay, so in my world, okay, so here we're all entering into my world right now for a minute.
Right.
So in my world, there, the old saying, you get what you pay for, kind of thing.
Certainly.
There are differences. Those headlights in those Cadillac, the SRXs, it's not the bulb, the
it's the mirrors.
It's the mirrors. It's inside of the headlight. So your mirrors are fixed.
Right.
Okay. So if you had like the SRX I had, if I go turn right, the mirrors shift right. Direct the light right.
Certainly.
See, okay, so mine had little motors and stuff inside the headlights.
I'm glad mine didn't.
Yeah, me too. But at the end, so you have companies out there that are mimicking what the factory. Listen, GM, Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, Lexus, they don't make parts.
No.
They hire, they sublet it out. They write contracts. Will you make this for me? Will you make that for me? How much will you charge me? It's business. It's business within the business. So now there's other companies out there saying, okay, well, we'll do it on the aftermarket side. So yes, I use a lot of aftermarket.
Now, are aftermarket still certified parts, or what makes it aftermarket versus not aftermarket?
Okay, so aftermarket for you probably ended up getting headlights from, let's say, Keystone, a company called Keystone. So Keystone they manufacture their own lights for all kinds of makes and models and stuff. Now, that is not a factory part because it's not from Cadillac. Although Keystone may have a contract for Cadillac. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But unless it comes in that Cadillac box, that genuine GM
and this one
part,
did not.
No, then it's an aftermarket part. But it may be just as good as the factory part. It may be.
Right. It's kind of like I worked for a long time when I was 18, 19 years old, I worked at a dairy processing where we did milk.
Okay.
And, milk, people say, well, milk, if you get T.G. Lee milk or Gustavus milk or Publix milk, the difference is we stop the line and change the bottles.
Right.
A lot of times, could that be with aftermarket too? Sometimes it's not, but sometimes it just, they stop the line and change the decals that are coming in the boxes they're putting it in.
Yeah, that can happen. That can happen quite often. But it also can be like in parts. Like if you bring your car in, and let's say we're going to put ball joints on your car.
Right.
Okay. So when I'm looking up the parts, I have 3 different ball joints that I can price you out, okay? What I don't do, and I can't speak for other shops, but what I don't do is I don't go and buy the $12 ball joints and charge you as though I bought the $50 ball joints. You see what I'm saying?
Certainly.
And I say ball joints because this guy happens to come to our shop yesterday, and he's showing what they're doing for this parts company. Okay, so this company is making these ball joints. Here's the factory ball joint, the one that you would get in your car if you bought it from the dealership, and here's the ones if you replace it. Look at the difference. This company has taken and made a product that's superior over the one that you're going to get when you buy the car. But then on the flip side, then we have the true value parts,
right.
And seriously, I can get that $20 ball joint, or I can get the $8 ball joint. I don't want the $8 ball joint. I wouldn't put that ball joint on my daughter's car or my wife's car. Why would I want to put it on your car?
And that's the one thing about Sunrise Automotive that I know to be fact is if your rule of thumb is, if it'll go on my wife or daughter's car, I'll put it on your car. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not putting it on your car.
Otherwise, I ain't doing it.
Because
it ain't happening.
Your customers are going to be just as safe when they leave your shop as your wife and daughter are if they leave your shop.
Exactly right. That's it. No, there's no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
Now, and a lot of people don't know this about me, but I came from the loins of a master mechanic. My dad, Schmitz, was in Jacksonville. He owned 5 Sunoco stations in Jacksonville in the late 60s, early 70s. And my dad was so good. This was before computers and all. You remember those days.
I remember.
when it was fun to work on cars. And he was so good. And, you hear about the guys that got the ear.
Yep.
People would bring cars to my dad on flatbeds and stuff. And this was in 1972, 73, when $20 was a bunch of money.
Right.
And they'd say, Smitty, I got $20 here. Listen to this car. Tell me what's wrong with it. It's been in our shop for a week, and we can't figure it out. He'd listen. He'd tell them something. They give him $20. They go back to their shop and fix it. So I came from a guy, and my dad never chinched. He wasn't chintzy on anything. He put the best parts in because his rule was if I wouldn't put my kids in that car, I put the customer in that car.
That's right.
And nowadays, in this very competitive world, that says a lot about the person that's doing the work is my family won't ride in it, so I won't let you ride in it.
And see, Tom, here's my dilemma that I have to deal with every day, okay? Everything, so that's my value, okay? That's my personal integrity, my character. So I got to take my personal